correct this time. Hi everyone. This is it's me, and I am joined by horrible allergies and not like that much. Like a quarter of a bottle of Dayquil. Not like the whole thing. I don't want to overdo it. Hopefully Steam stays connected this time. I think we're still connected. That looks like we are. Okay. Let me just check my stream quality. It's good. So there we go. Everything's turning up, Millhouse. This is either going to be a very short or a very long stream, depending on how things go. Because I might wander off topic and then never finish, or I might just blurt it all out at once and then die, and then press the stop record button. So we'll see. Okay. What do I got here? I didn't do a slideshow because it's hard, and I feel like nobody gave a shit about it last time except for me. So, hooray! Okay. Oh right. I thank the patrons. Thanks patrons. I really appreciate it. I'll look at the list later. You guys don't care that I do this. This is not an episode that anybody gives a shit about, I promise. Okay, so more logical fallacies. Let's talk about that for a second. Logical fallacies are big dumb things that make your argument big dumb. I think we're all familiar with these because one of our favorite things to do as people who live on the internet is shit on people whose opinions we dislike, and one of the favorite ways that we have to do that is to haughtily dangle terminology of things about why they're wrong, which is actually just another fallacy, is the fallacy. We'll talk about that in a second, maybe. So did we? I think last time. Well, I mean, last time we talked about formal and informal logic, deductive and inductive, and like I touched on abductive because I thought it was cool. There's a lot of like informal logical fallacies that we're actually gonna focus on, but there's a few like formal ones, which usually come down to like, well, formal logic is like usually it's basically just math, right? A lot of the formal fallacies are basically just using the language of the logic language wrong, if that makes sense. Like the argument will be in like the wrong form, or the operators won't be operating, or whatever the fuck formal logic does. I don't know. I don't like it. It's weird and it's scary. But the in general, the informals. Well, hang on a second. Ah, so much better. In general, the informals are things that sound like reasoning, but are very bad. Deceptive in their badness. Jeezy crazy. I'm a sneeze again. Okay, yo, what up? Tests and tests. I hope you guys are having a great time. I'm obviously really enjoying myself right now. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna pause again so I can sneeze. Okay, so where were we? I don't think Corona comes with horrible allergies, but it might. That might be a it's a type of fallacy. I can't remember what kind it's called. That's fine. Anyway, usually you will see some of these fallacies. I mean, let's fucking be honest. You're gonna see all of these fallacies on internet forums. That's where everything happens. It's where all of the hot problems occur. Sometimes in the comment sections of a BuzzFeed article, sometimes in the comment sections of a YouTube video, but always in the comment sections. I mean, I guess Facebook counts, but nobody's actually having a conversation on Facebook. Is it frozen for you, Jane? I don't know, my connection says that it's good. Okay. Maybe maybe this video is mostly going to be solving technical issues. That would be fun. Does that help? Perfect. Awesome. Wait, what? Jane, do you need me to like directly message you video? Ugh. You guys ever hit that point of medication where it's like you feel sweaty and hot, but you're actually quite cool? Like, I don't have a fever or anything, but like I'm like, whew, it is a comfortable temperature in here. Whew, whew. Just me? That's cool. Anyway, um, so right, fallacies. They don't. Did I talk about bad faith? I think I did. Bad faith versus good faith. Bad faith being like, I don't know, like to simplify it, like making an argument in bad faith is kind of like being a little bitch about it, and being in good faith is like kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna assume that we're all playing by the rules here. That's not exactly it, but it's fucking whatever. I don't have anyone else on here to tell me otherwise, and the Dayquil is just being like, yeah, fucking do it. You're right. Keep going, man. You could probably dance if you wanted to. So anyway, a lot of these fucking fallacies they don't have to be made in bad faith. Like people, we all commit logical fallacies, and very rarely do we commit them in bad faith. In fact, a lot of these fallacies are the sorts of things that like outside of the context of like a information I don't know, exchange, like an argument, but not like the rah kind, like the kind between two interlocutors, kind of informally formal argument. Outside of those contexts, a lot of these fallacies make like sense in like everyday conversation. They're still wrong, but like they make sense to like common wisdom versus like making sense to like logic. What the fuck is an example of that? Oh my god. I don't know who Brit Nicole 96 is, but thanks for following. You were in for a terrible time. Picked a hell of a time to sign up, kid. Okay, right. What is my favorite logical fallacy? Well, okay, like ad hominem's a pretty good one. It's not my favorite, but we can fucking. It's acceptably good. That's the one where you attack the person and not the argument. This is a pretty fucking common one, actually. Excuse me. And it's kind of like the first place that everybody goes, right? It's what the hell? What's that one law where it's like how long it like Nazis will come up immediately? Does anyone? What is it? Godwin? Yeah, Godwin's law. Yes, it's like Godwin's law. It's the part of that ad hominem umbrella. It's only gonna take so long before suddenly somebody will call you a Nazi, basically. I'm trying to pull up a picture. Um, there's a pretty good one out there. I have it linked in the outline. Oh, there it is. Okay. I can't. I've always been frustrated by Google Docs insofar as that I can't just take an image that I have in there, save it on my computer. It's like in the dock forever. There's no like quick and easy. I'm sure there is, and I just don't know what it is. But what I'm trying to show you is the quick and dirty rundown on them fallacies, though, which I think I should be able to just like display capture. Yeah, there we go. Put that over my face real quick so you can't see me. Yes. Well, these are our basic and common. I don't know. This is taxonomy, right? You all know what taxonomy is, so I won't even bother explaining it to you because you're all very smart, which is why you are here. But you've got your bases. You've got your fake expert, which is, oh hell yeah, I can draw. Broken down into a couple, excuse me, different subtypes. This one is kind of like fucking whatever. It's not my favorite because you don't really see it too much. It's basically just somebody either claiming that they are an expert in something they are not, or like pointing to someone who's an expert in a different field or something and that's not. And it's kind of like an appeal to authority, but whatever. This is mostly what we're concerned about, all of this orange shit. This stuff is cool, but this is a little bit, well, the green one, or what is that, blue? This one is a little bit more data oriented. These things are fucking uh fun. I'll say that. 27 minutes is an oddly specific amount of time, Jane. But wait, that is, hang on. Oh, that's one of these. I can't figure it out. There's one where it's like, oh, well, this data seems about what I want, what you would expect for this sort of thing, therefore it must be real. Because yeah, if I see like, if I see someone like, oh yes, it was 24 minutes and 53 seconds from this point when this happened, I'll be like, oh yeah, that seems legit. They took the time. Oh, word, yeah, no, that's a pretty good upgrade tree that you've described, starting with like taking Kierkegaard's leap of faith as the base feat and then upgrading from there. Ooh boy. Stringing thoughts together right now is just like the most difficult thing in the world. Alright, so why do we give a shit? I'll minimize this for a second. Why do we give a shit about logical fallacies? Well, it's very simple. I mean, basically it's important for critical thinking, right? If we know, I mean, okay, honestly, the most important reason is so that you can lord it over people, which I alluded to before. If you know your logical fallacies, you cannot make them, or you can make them well if you're down for that sort of thing. But most importantly is you can shit on other people for making them, and that's really why we're here, correct? Like, that's why we all want to know this stuff, is so that we can be like, no, you're wrong, and here's all the reasons why. But like in a way that gives us the high ground, Anakin. Also, well, yeah, you should like that. Like I said, that's the whole point of this: is go out there and wreck face, my dudes. Yeah. Anyway, so the next thing after the next videos stream after this one is going to be about information literacy, which is basically why the thing that your mother posted on Facebook is wrong kind of stuff. And so this is important to wrecking face in that domain as well. Oh yeah. What the hell was I gonna say? Oh, mic levels. Are my mic levels okay today? I know that like in past streams everybody's been like, you're too quiet, the volume isn't good enough, we can hear Rin better than we can hear you. I'm just trying to make sure that that's not the case. Can you hear me over Rin? Hung over? How about now? Is it a little better now? Get some silent stream ASMR. Yeah, I can't keep that up. Yeah, right? Hang on. Y'all remember this? I've hawked it before. It's my Jane original, and I love it. Yeah, Tracer, if you missed it, I'm on a profound amount. Profound. I'm exaggerating. I'm on a slightly more than the recommended dosage amount of Dayquil. Where was I? I gotta... peripherals drink? Oh, my peripheral devices. I knew that. Right, okay, so I mentioned that there are formal and informal logical fallacies. And that the formal ones are syntax errors. Like, don't forget your curly brackets when you're programming. That's fallacy. Why can't you hear anything, Jane? God. Whole stream's a fucking mess. I don't know why. I don't know why those patrons I keep forgetting to thank even pay me money. Right. That's what I was gonna say. The formal fallacies are, they all, where's my chart? They all fall under, boop, wait, hold on, boop, there we go. They all technically fall under, shoot, where is it? That's so crazy, it's not even here. Oh, well, whatever. There's a non sequitur, is what it's called. All the formal fallacies technically fall under that category, because, you know, it's not, those fallacies aren't defined in the formal language being used, which means that they're not on topic, basically, as far as that language, oh my god, is concerned, making them non sequitur. It is. I am really quiet. I don't know what more I can do about that. I'm like maximum hyper overdrive volumed. Maybe if I bump it noise suppression down. I think that that's just gonna like increase the amount of shit that's being cut out. Maybe if I just get rid of noise suppression altogether. How's that? I'm guessing it's fine. I'm guessing it's totally better now. In fact, I bet I can add some gain. Let's add some gains. Gains? Gains! Is this better? Yeah? Okay. I should have added these gains the whole time, son. I hope that that's not gonna. This is probably just gonna like fuck everything up for when I have a co-host again. Hey, what up, Zen? Chi? Zen Chi? Okay, where was I? Alright, cool. Now everyone can hear me better. Now my mic color is in the red, which is probably fine. That's red. We like red. Oh yeah, Jane is like way behind. Okay. Oh, you know, things are fine. I'm on Dayquil and I'm trying to explain a topic that I had to pay Tucker to write an outline for because I'm a miserable fuck of a human being. What are you talking about? I'm not fucking drinking. That would be ridiculous. That's not what I do on this stream. That's what my co-hosts do on this stream. I'm gonna bump the gain down just a little bit. How's that? Yeah, no, that's true. Mods have a very important job to do insofar as that stay drunk. Stay saucy! I just realized that you can't see my face, which is probably for the best because I look disgusting. Thanks, Uda. The fuck was I talking about? Oh, right, non sequiturs, and then I non sequitured. By the way, did you know? Deshtaru? Non sequitur means that it does not follow. That's that's the opposite of QED, right? I don't remember what QED means, but what? What was to be demonstrated? Okay, well, not really the opposite, but okay. Informal, right? Let me put it this way. Oh shit. Yeah, you're a bot. So I would be like, yes, Uda, you are a bot, and then I'd repost what you just posted, and then I'd be like, QED, and that's how that would work, right? I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna talk about it. I'm gonna get rid of this chart. There we go. Now y'all can see my sunken, hollowed eyes and my glowing cat ears. Okay. Right, so, the, non sequiturs, informal versus formal. Basically, formal logical logical fallacies, logical fallacies, they invalidate the argument. I mean, the argument is no longer an argument. It doesn't make sense. It is not in the language of an argument. It is just junk words. Which is not to say that informals can't take that form either, but like that's what a formal does. A formal fallacy makes the argument not an argument. It is invalidated. A informal fallacy weakens the argument, but it does not necessarily invalidate it. Jesus fucking Christ. This is the worst stream ever. I don't know what my life is. We talked about like the strength of an argument last time. Like strong versus weak, both of which have two C's in them. The strong being supported by additional promiscuous premises that make that. I mean, this was inductive, right? Strong arguments are cogent insofar as that our premises that you've added are like, oh yeah, that tracks in my brain. And then, so what was the example is like, does your dog bite? And then the person behind the counter is like, no, my dog does not bite. And then you are like, okay, well, that means that I can pet your dog. That tracks that you have said to me that your dog does not bite. The strength of that argument, a stronger argument would be made if you see him pet the dog and it does not bite. It is not totally, outside of the realm of possible that it won't bite you, but it is less likely, and you are more likely to believe him if you see them do that. It would weaken the argument if you went to pet it and it bit him. What would further weaken the argument in the movie that I am citing is finding out that the dog is not his dog. And y'all should watch the original Pink Panther, because that shit is dope. Peter Sellers is what's up. The fuck was I talking about that I got on to Peter Sellers? Alright, bye. It's good to see you, Zenshi. Yes. Actually, yes. That is exactly what it is. Yeah, the formal is discrete maths, informal is, linguistic and rhetoric. Well, I don't think rhetoric is exactly the right term, but it is very close. Good, Jane. I'm glad that you have good taste. Always knew you did. Oh yeah, word. Speaking of Jane, check out these sweet hand tats I have. This is acetylcholine and this is glutamate. This is for muscular, neuromuscular junctions and like procedural learning. And this is the other type of I can't fucking talk. This is brain smarts. This is body smarts. No. I don't even. Can you give me an example of mumble rap and I will try? I'm just kidding. I will not. That's okay, Jane. I'm an extra 31 minutes behind where the stream should be at this point. You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and call it beforehand. I'm gonna do this episode again. I didn't even upload this one to fucking YouTube. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I totally will. But I'll probably no, I'm not giving up. I'm gonna finish this episode out, and then I'm gonna do it again, the same episode at a later date when the information that I am trying to convey gets out of my mouth. Ugh. Nah, I'm just kidding. This is going great. Okay, so like, let's talk about some specifics, right? I know that's really what we care about. What are some of the logical fallacies that are the most common? Like, we know ad hominem, we know the strawman fallacy. Ad hominem is basically like cross counter and punch him in the face. And then who the fuck is Nomura? No, I mean, yeah, bluefin tuna is the more common of those two, but I'll talk about that in a second. I'm really curious as to who the fuck Nomura is. Whatever, figure it out later. Okay, so yeah, um, ad hominem is attacking the person instead of the argument. Um, the red herring is I feel like there's another type of red herring like a subset that is it's not blue tuna. I'll look it up in a second. But yeah, red herring is like I mean it's the same thing in like mystery novels. It's like here's a thing that is basically a trick. It is not actually the thing that we are uh, after. It is not the MacGuffin. It is a secondary thing. It's not the MacGuffin. It's basically just a diversionary tactic to send someone off on a wild goose chase. And I think it just like literally comes from taking a red herring and like rubbing it on trees or whatever so that it throws the bloodhounds off the scent. Whatever. The straw man, yeah, the straw man is a very common one. That is a type of misrepresentation fallacy, which is basically you're arguing against a point that is like misrepresentative of the counter to your argument, which is like literally watch any political ad currently being aired on any pro-Trump political ad. I mean, most political ads all of the time forever are this the whole strawman thing. Although sometimes they ignore the shit that doesn't have like enough. Sometimes they'll do a different thing. I can't stop thinking about what the other type of red herring is. Uh. Yes, checkmate libs. Hmm. Okay. It's called a blowfish fallacy. Um. This is laser focusing on an inconsequential methodological aspect of scientific research, blowing it out of proportion in order to distract you from the bigger details. I guess that makes sense. Um. Oh, was it? Oh, word. Yeah, it is. It is literally right there. Hold up. It's time for sneeze. Ah, so much worse. Yeah, okay. So blowfish blows the thing out of disproportion out of hang on. I think I'm okay actually. Um the let's see. There's I mean, there's a false equivalency. That's always a good one where it's like, fucking socialized healthcare is the same thing as communism. What? I feel like vaccines usually come down to like appeal to nature, but um here, let me look at my chart. My um oh, okay. No, that comes down. That's like some conspiracy theory things, though. Um, let's see. That's I think gonna come down to I don't know. Maybe it is. I'm not in my right mind to make calls on what is and is not. Okay, but moving back to what's written down on this outline, I have here in front of me something called the tu quoque. Hang on. That is correct. Well, that saves me the time of going and making Google pronounce it for me. Anyway, it's a that's the no you fallacy. Biden is bad too, so don't vote. I don't. I think that's drawing the wrong conclusion. Let me see. I mean, so, well, tu quoque is like appeal to hypocrisy, right? Uh, like, how dare you make the argument that you shouldn't smoke because you yourself are a smoker? Is I think the tu quoque. Wait, hold on. Tucker wrote down an example. Two wrongs make a right. Oh no, this is the subsect that it is a part of. Informal fallacy, red herring, two wrongs make a right, and then the tu quoque. So that is the taxonomical flow chart. Anyways, so the example here is veganism is pointless. Vegans say they care about animals, but animals are killed while harvesting vegetables too. Since we can't avoid all animal death, veganism is irrational. But wait, that's a black and white fallacy, isn't it? I think there's a lot going on in there. Whatever, let's talk about gambler fallacy. That's the next one on this list. I'm sure you guys know the gambler fallacy. If you don't, then let me explain. And if you do, then stop listening for a second. A gambler's fallacy. So, like, say that you have been receiving really shitty luck, like, every blank period of time. So, like, last month, your luck was shitty. This month, your luck was shitty. And then you're like, okay, well, I've had 2 shitty luck months in a row. But surely, because of how averages work, the next month is more likely to be not shitty because that would start to balance things out. Well, that's not how probability works. It is not like the probability calculated in every instant does not take into account the probability of the previous instant. You have a every time you flip a coin, it has a 50-50 chance in theory based on an ideal coin has a 50-50 chance of heads or tail every time you flip it, and that does not change because of the previous flips. That is the gambler's fallacy. Oh, Tucker actually wrote an example. Because the last 10 coins flipped landed on heads, the next should land on tails. And the fires in 2020. I'm just going to leave that one alone. So, okay, but yeah, as noted there, gambler's fallacy is technically a formal logic fallacy, but like it's the level of formal logic that we use casually. So it's on this list. Which is like, yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of the other point, is that some of these most of the formal logic fallacies we don't care about because they are the math kind, but there are a few that will come up that sort of informally get categorized as informal. Let's see. I'm going to turn back to my list here. There are a couple other ones that I want to touch on as far as the... Oh my god, hang on, guys. I just realized something. This is dumb. These are my flick boys. Hell yeah. Alright, so anyway, we touched on this, and we touched on this. I mean, misrepresentation, yeah. The oversimplification, and, well, actually, these two, really. We touched on this is sort of the, since X, then obviously the extreme version of X, which kind of, we'll get into that in a second with the slippery slope, but like oversimplification is like, oh, okay, well, humans existing increase carbon footprint, therefore we should just give up on trying to do anything about carbon because humans will continue to exist. It kind of oversimplifies the matter insofar as that there are degrees of things, shades of gray, blah blah blah. That one in fact is closer to the single cause, where it's like, oh well, only humans are the only cause of like carbon footprint increase or whatever. But a slippery slope, on the other hand, would be like, well, if we allow a fine to be placed on companies that have over a certain amount of carbon emissions, then we might as well be putting all of these businesses or all of these companies out of business. It's like, okay, yeah, no, that's you've gone a little too far. But oh yeah, that's Brittany Nicole 96, which is just kept wanting to say 69 because nice. But anyway, test. Thanks for doing a test check, so I had a second to swig some more Red Bull. Yeah, slippery slope. X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, E is how that works. We talked about this red herring. Whoops. The red herring, and then kind of the blowfish as well. The false equivalency, I'm just going to leave it like, yeah, the thing that you said, that the two things that you equated to one another are not equal. This can be the sort of thing where it's like, oh, well, 9 out of 10 doctors say that smoking is bad for you, but this one doctor who is an expert in his field says that smoking can actually prevent allergies or something. I can't think of a good example there. And like, sure, these are experts. That seems reasonable that doctors are debating the thing, but really that's like the majority of doctors versus like one guy. That's not really equivalent. That would be, I think, specifically a false balance. Apples and oranges is more of a, okay, those two things are completely unrelated, and I don't know why you brought the one up as a counterpoint to the first, but okay. You're not even wrong, though. Um, Goal posting is um, I think that's a little closer to a non sequitur, but good example. Anyway, goal posting, moving the goalposts. Sorry, is yeah, that one. It is also one of my favorites. That's where you keep like when you're having an argument, um, and you start losing, you start pushing what the win conditions are further and further back. Like, yeah, all right, if fucking if cigarettes are so bad for you, then like name the bad things that they can do, and then you're like, oh, okay, well they cause lung cancer and emphysema. And then you're like, okay, yeah, maybe they cause those two things, but like what else could they possibly do? And then every time they give you an answer to that question, you push it a little further back because the argument can never end if there is no win condition that they are allowed to reach. Um, I don't really care about these right here. Cherry picking is nice, specifically this kind. Cherry picking is where you're like, ah, yes, this sample size of people that I have collected all exhibit these properties or attributes that prove my point, and by ignoring a huge amount of that population or sample size and selecting just the ones that have the stuff that you care about in it, you have cherry picked. So say that you spoke with 100 people and 6 of them gave you the data that you wanted, and you'd be like, okay, well, I got these 6 people exhibited these properties, therefore it's fairly common, and it's okay, but no, it's not. It's your sample size was much huger than the information that you got, but it's okay. You narrowed your sample size to the ones that just exhibited what you want. And the other one, subset of that cherry picking, was the anecdata, which I think is closer to no, I mean, it is very much closer to what Uda has said here. Anecdotal evidence is not actual evidence. So in the example there, it's like, well, my anecdote of driving drunk every night and never having killed anyone is not, like, obviously that proves that it's not that dangerous, but it's like, okay, that's just the one person's experience, and there was no scientific rigor or anything behind it. This is just a story that you have told me. And so, yeah, you're absolutely right. It is very representative of reality. I think you're talking about qualitative, because, fuck the social sciences. Anyway, quote mining, I think, is going to come up a lot in the information literacy. That's going to be things like sifting through a bunch of shit that somebody said until finding like the proper good point. Sifting through a bunch of shit said until you find what you're looking for to support what you're trying to argue, which is interestingly a logical fallacy, but also like literally how you cite papers. So really the argument here is that why should I have to use citations? Because in reality, that's not what the author meant, clearly. No one checks the citations though, so what do you know? Slothful induction, wishful thinking, I don't really care about. They pretty self-explanatory though. Wishful thinking just being like, I saw a thing and I want it to be true, therefore I'm not going to look further than that than just what I wanted to hear out of it. Slothful induction basically just being, all right, I heard a thing, and my first instinct is to jump to this conclusion, and I am super not going to look further into that because I'm way too fucking lazy. Conspiracy theories, I don't super care about, but we should touch on briefly because I have a feeling that in the context of information literacy that we will be mostly using, i.e., Facebook bullshit, you're gonna see a lot of this shit. Um, th- how do I? Okay, so immune to evidence. This is gonna be something that I mean, immune to evidence is really the non-falsifiable problem about Popper I talked about in our first like 2 streams ago, which is the Freud's I forget what the specific thing was called, but like Freudianism, where it's like, okay, anything that you say, we can take that framework that I have laid out and interpret it in a way that makes sense and is argues for the theories and framework that I am trying to push. That is immune to evidence because there's literally no way that evidence can do anything to change it. And as such, it is not a good theory or argument. It may seem reasonable, may actually be useful in real life, but more often than not, it's bullshit. Get that fucking shit out of here. I'm not interested. Reinterpreting randomness is something that where you'll start to see patterns and shit and be like, yes, if you look at it this way, the number 7 is actually very significant in these contexts. When in reality, that number 7 shows up about as often as the number 7 should in some random data. Persecuted victim, I feel like I really don't need to explain that. Something must be wrong. This is sort of the it's quiet too quiet fallacy. You're looking at a thing and you're like, there's a property that I can see here and it seems out of place, so clearly something is wrong. Or even I should be seeing evidence of a Illuminati influence here, and I'm not, which means that the Illuminati is influencing it on such a high degree that they've been able to cover up their own tracks. Nefarious intent is, this thing was said very clearly for the purposes of achieving some evil end. Nefarious intent actually can sometimes get conflated with noticing something is being argued in bad faith, which is a nefarious intent. But you could usually tell the difference when there's that nefarious intent fallacy happening versus I'm pretty sure this person is arguing in bad faith. Can you stop, please? I don't know how to explain overriding suspicion, so I won't. And contradictory is basically just these two things are if God is real, if God isn't real, then explain discrete mathematics, please. I have a test on Friday. No, sorry, it's the checkmate atheists argument. What was the fake debate. I want to touch on that too real quick. Fake debate. Yes, thank you, the Romulan Empire. The fake debate is the sort of thing. Actually, it's not too far away from the straw man in a lot of examples. And by the way, a lot of these fallacies can be used in some of these fallacies pair excellently with other fallacies, and you can use damn near all of them in a single argument if you're really motivated to do so. The fake debate pairs very well with the strawman fallacy. The fake debate being a sort of fabricated situation between a quote-unquote expert and a quote-unquote other expert. Think of the debate between Bill Nye and Ken Ham. Ken Ham is arguing from a place of expertise, which we could say, let's grant that it is actually expertise. Not on the subject that is being debated with Bill Nye, or if in that case Bill Nye is not an expert on the subject that they're debating with Ken Ham. So looking at it from either side, we have a fake expert on one of those sides, and there's a lot of strawmanning occurring just by the nature of that debate. They were unable to have arguments that were on the same level of conversation with one another, so they kind of had to strawman and interpret what the other person is saying and transpose it into the field of argument that they are arguing with, which is, your brain is going to strawman that either way. So basically, Ken will say blank, and then Bill Nye has to take that blank, turn it into a scarecrow of Ken Ham saying blank, but in the terms of, science, and then argue against that. And then Ken Ham has to take a fucking scarecrow of Bill Nye, put the words that he just said reinterpreted into that thing's mouth, and then argue against that. And ta-da, you've got yourself a fake debate between strawmen. And, yeah, that is pretty much everything that I wanted to cover. Hey, look at look at this. We're under time because I somehow rambled through everything pretty quickly. Let's see. Just gonna comb through the fucking notes one more time. Deductive, inductive. I covered all the ones on this sheet that I gave a shit about and that will matter. I mean, you guys know the two wrongs don't make a right sort of sentiment, right? And the fallacy for two wrongs making a right makes sense. Yeah, everybody understand that. Excuse me. The Imperium of Man is also the whole fucking Romulan Empire. It's the same thing. Anyway. Oh my god. You can't comprehend the level of heresy that I operate on. The Gambler fallacy, we talked about that. It's, quick maths, but bad maths. I'm performing 1,000 calculations a second, and all of them are wrong. Yeah, I think that's it. Equivocation, antenna classes? I don't know. Oh, I remember that. I can't remember how to pronounce it, but that's the time flies like an arrow, fruit flies like a banana. It's the example of what that is. That being like words sound the same and mean different things sometimes. Yeah, okay. So that's it. Critical thinking is where we're headed with all of this. Remember your fallacies, kids. Shit. I forgot to bring the gotcha machine in here, but here's what I'm going to do. Next stream, which should be the week after next, I'm going to do 2 raffle gotcha things. One of them is going to be for a poster listing logical fallacies, and then the other one is going to be for spoilers. I'll tell you what it is then when the episode is happening next time. And yeah, stay tuned. I might, when I upload this to YouTube, I might just, cut a whole bunch of it out and then like add some fucking subtitles that simplify what I'm saying into words that make sense. Or I might just post this directly as it is on the YouTube and let you guys figure it out. I don't know. I'll see how it looks when I'm editing the video. Oh yeah, my actual patrons need to my patrons need to actually be read. So let's see who all is a patron. I know that chances are junior scientist. And I only know that because chances are only junior scientist. Let's see. So yeah, Chance Morgan, thank you for being our junior scientist. We've got Jane, Nicole, and Andrea at our lab partner level. Thank you guys for, helping out on the bench there. Rin, who almost joined us today, is our head researcher. Thank you very much, Rin. And of course, As always, Lord Empress of the Lab, Donna Carroll, we thank you the most for being the most generous donator of them all. It is through you guys and an endowment from the National Science Foundation that this program is possible. I am just kidding. If I could get an endowment from the National Science Foundation, which I don't think exists anymore, I would be so happy. It will never happen, but can you imagine how fucking cool that is? I wonder if there's a grant proposal I could submit or something. It would never be accepted in 1,000 years, but also like, oops. Oh no! Whatever, you don't need to see me. Jesus Christ. Okay, I fucking ruined my picture, and I can't get it back easily, so thank you guys, and I will see you week after next.